From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Wakers, pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance, it was resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. To form the Deanus Nightly, never free from the debt. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in the sky. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage to reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan out as crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined. Where was next? Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the largest to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, this is, and you are Under the Groove. Everybody, this is Under the Groove Podcast. Here I am, and there you are. Welcome. It's Hump Day. Grand Rising to all those who made it this far. It's a good look, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, we call this Wellness Wednesday. All right. This is where we come in, man, and we try to bring wellness. We try to heal, heal from my wounds, man, our hurts, our pains, find some joy, happiness, some peace, man, some unity, respect, and some dignity, man, in how we go about doing this thing, man. I just want to again welcome everybody to the Get Down. This is Under the Groove, y'all. Let's go in. I got a couple of clips I want to drop. I want to bring them in and and have a discussion, and I would like to my brothers and our sisters to come in, man, and look, let's talk about this stuff, Let's talk about this stuff respectfully. You know what I'm saying? That's the purpose, I think, man. That's the purpose of us coming together, man. Bridging these gaps we have. In order to do that, we have to learn how or start communicating with one another. Again, respectfully. We can agree to disagree, but man, always be respectful to our brothers, our sisters, our kings, and our queens. That's Mando. That's Mando. So, in a sense, the ball was dropped last night by Wa, me. That won't happen again. The focus is the focus, y'all. And that's us in our unity. That's it. That's all. All right. That being said, again, welcome everybody. Peace and prosperity, each and every one of you. It's good to see you up in here, Antonio, again, man. My apologies go out to the RGC, man, and anyone who was watching and thought that was the normal get down. It is not. So, we're here, man, and we're here, man, to discuss B1, our unity, man, our focus, all that stuff that matter, man. So it's good to see you back, Antonio, in spite of, you as well, Henry, man. Appreciate you up in here, bro. You say, please, peace, blessings, everyone. Brother Bub, salute, family. Likewise, peace, prosperity, you and the family. May everything be to you guys' likings, to your workings, your positivity and productivity, man. Get it done. Get it done. And this is Hump Day. This is Wednesday, all right? We're at the middle, almost at the end of, the 5 days in what they call a week. We're on the precipice of a weekend, man, that should be everything we set out for it to be. Wednesday is a good day. Wednesday is a good day. I'm here, and there you are, like I said. So I got these clips, man. I want to drop these clips. I want to bring them in, man, because I think they're significant, just to get us to the point where we're discussing or talking about, other things. We talk about a little bit of everything. Lately we've been talking about, a lot of personal issues or, concerns, beliefs, or whatever. And let's move away from that for a little bit. In a sense, though, or in a respect, man, there's actually, you can, depending on how you look at it, there's not always a separation. There's not always a separation in terms of, what we believe, our beliefs are, what we trust, or what we go by. So again, just be mindful of all that is. All right. Let me make sure this clip is primed and ready. Okay. I don't know if anybody ever heard of this cat, man. This brother's name is Phase One. And I think that he's down there in Georgia. All right. Peace and blessings, kings and queens. Happy hump day, B1. That's from Queen and Zinga. Good to see you up in here, sis. Good to see you up in here. It's kind of warm, man. I'm shit. I'm feeling every bit of that. But anyway, yeah, good to see you up in here, sister. Let me jump on in here, man. I want to start this clip. We don't have come on in here, y'all. Let's get it in. So we can get to these discussions, these topics, these conversations, the dialogue, and the debate. Debate's not necessarily a bad thing, y'all. Depending on who's debating and how, or whether or not, we really understand how debate goes. But let's not X debate out of this, out of the equation. Let's always keep that a part of this get down, man. It's good to debate. All right, I want to drop this right quick. If need be, I'll play it again for those who, weren't in the get down, so that they'll get a bar of it, later. But this is Phase One, called the infiltration of the conscious community. I think it's kind of fire too. That's why I got it up in here. All right. All right, Soldier Denise, I see you up in here with us tonight, Queen. Thank you. Greetings, right back to you. Peace and prosperity. Okay, let's get this in.
Before the conscious community got seemingly hijacked, I was there. I even used to teach in high school, and I would tell them, one day they're going to try to hijack this. They're going to try to infiltrate it. I said, and then you're going to see me come up again and clear up what it actually is. Dr. Malachi Z, that's the master teacher of all times. This is the one who actually did the works, that built the community. He built all of this.
You said the game got infiltrated, so you think it's a lot of false prophets.
I know it's a lot.
Everybody don't come with that authenticity. People just, try to make a quick buck or whatever the case may be.
People are after a dollar. That's why they don't come together as a community. Everybody's attempting to build their own brand, their own business, keep it a solo individualized thing. So you never see it manifest in the so-called material plane. It'll all be here on this digital plane. It becomes a lot more ether talk than actual talk. The whole lineup of the spiritual teachers is false prophets. Just like the angels of light. When the angels of light came out, when they spoke up in the biblical scriptures, there's people that were supposed to be disguising themselves as angels of light, but they were really angels of darkness or deception. So them students want to be just like them. So them students going to have the same rhetoric points and the same talking points. Nobody's researching what they said. Nobody looking into it. And everybody just jumping up like, if I make an account and start posting Instagram videos or TikTok videos, then now I'm one of those ones that changed the world. That's not how this goes. They didn't get the language they're speaking. English didn't come from inside of them. That's coming from the words that already existed prior. You're piecing them together to try to present a new word. When you just come and put three letters together and now you think you understand it, there's going to be a conflict there. And then people are going to try to understand it from where you're coming from, and then they'll be lost. But then they're going to decide that they get it. You want to know why? Because a lot of times people become fans of whoever bringing the information. Before the conscious community got seemingly hijacked, I was there. I even used to teach in high school, and I would tell them, one day they're going to try to hijack this. They're going to try to infiltrate it. I said, and then you're going to see me come up again and clear up what it actually is. Dr. Malachi Z, that's the master teacher of all times. This is the one who actually did the works, that built the community. He built all of this.
You said the game got infiltrated, so you think it's a lot of false prophets.
I know it's a lot.
Everybody don't come with that authenticity. People just, try to make a quick buck or whatever the case may be.
People are after a dollar. That's why they don't come together as a community. Everybody's attempting to build their own brand, their own business, keep it a solo individualized thing. So you never see it manifest in the so-called material plane. It'll all be here on this digital plane. It becomes a lot more ether talk than actual talk. the whole lineup of the spiritual teachers is false prophets. Just like the angels of light. When the angels of light came out, when they spoke of it in the biblical scriptures, it's people that were supposed to be disguising themselves as angels of light, but they were really angels of darkness or deception. But them students want to be just like them, so them students gonna have them same rhetoric points and them same talking points. Nobody's researching what they said, nobody looking into it, and everybody's just jumping up like if I make an account and start posting Instagram videos or TikTok videos, then now I'm one of those ones that change the world. That's not how this goes. They didn't get the language they're speaking. English didn't come from inside of them. That's coming from the words that already existed prior. You're piecing them together to try to present a new word. When you just come and put three letters together and now you think you understand it, there's going to be a conflict there, and then people are going to try to understand it from where you're coming from, and then they'll be lost. But then they're going to decide that they get it. You want to know why? Because a lot of times people become fans of whoever bringing the information.
Wow. All right. All right. And that aspect, or the aspect of that, what he said in terms of how we are so individualized, you know, that rings true. I mean, any of us could speak to that. Most brothers and sisters, when they talk about, you know, doing something positive or building something, it's always, well, I'm gonna do this. You know, it's always solo. Well, most of the time it's solo. It's individualized, you know. So therefore, yeah, no one. It's not being done together. You know, we're not a unit building for something positive, constructive, something, you know, geared towards a purpose that's going to serve each and every one of us. I get that. We see that every day. We see that every day. And then the branding is still, we see it, social media every day. It's nonstop. So I wanted to drop that because I thought there was a message in that, aside from, you know, him speaking about, you know, angels, this and that. Just, you know, the fact that we aren't linking in, we aren't tapping in to the chords, you know, going inward to get what's needed. You know, I think that means a lot too. That sets, you know, that's a great example. That's a great example to set. All right, man. I see you up in here, Soldier Denise. Queen and Zingam brothers, greetings. Right back to you. Like I said, peace and prosperity, sister. It's always good and an honor to have you amongst us. All right. Acres Home says, man, what's up, G? H-Town tapping in. Appreciate it. Anytime Houston, Texas is in the house. All right. Please, y'all like and share. For those who haven't, hey, subscribe to this. Get down, man. Let's get this thing up and running like it should be. We have a lot of intellectual or intelligent and righteous brothers and sisters in this. Get down. You know, and each and every one of us have something to impart to this, give to this struggle, man, that we in. We in a struggle, believe that. It's going to take each and every one of us, man, to get this stuff, you know, this situation right. Al Thomas said, man, salutations to everyone in RGC, peace and blessings. On this hump day, B1 equals black first. Right back to you, Al. Right back to you. Bet the Hoover Street, all right? What, bro? All right, good to see you back, bro. Good to see you back. Appreciate you. Al said, man, Dr. York has had some bad charges, big bro. He was certainly one of the first to address the conscious community, though. Facts. Is this the same brother just recently? Or I don't know if it was just recently, but I think they gave him like 135 years or something like that. He's incarcerated. He was arrested and, you know, went through this trial. Is that the same brother? Is that him? All right, the tweak ends here is back. The tweak is back. All right, tweak, good to see you back up in here. Right back to you, loved one. Salute. Good to see you up in here, man. Yeah, Dr. York. I'm not too sure, man, but I saw something on the Instagram. And this brother, you know, insightful brother, very wise, you know, individual, and they had him in bondage, man. He was going through something. Don't know exactly what it was because it didn't have, you know, something I can read up on it. And it did not have his name, but it had pictures of him like the one I just saw. So I wonder if that's him, Dr. York. And if so, I'm going to go research that brother and find out myself. Yeah, so what do you know on him, Al? You know, you said already that he was certainly one of the first to address the conscious community, all right? Seemed like he was on his blackness too. It seemed that way. So I got another one, man, I want to drop, and I thought this one also was significant, and this is why I put it in the lineup. And this is what we pretty much talk about this. We talk about this often. And it's just the fact that, the sister wanted to come in and speak on it as well, I think is significant. That's a good look. All right. Soldier Denise said, man, they did what they do, make up false sexual charges. Oh, all right. Yeah, that's what they do. They find the right person, to coerce, to help them do what they want to do. You're right about that. They do that. Hold on, let me bring this in here because I think this is significant, like I said. Yeah, that's that sister right there. Okay. Yeah, man, I think that's a brother then. They're 135 years. And it threw me for a curve because when he was walking down the court steps in handcuffs with, them people on each side of him, he had a big ass smile on his face, not like glee, but he just had a smile on his face. And I was like, damn. What was that about, So yeah, I'm gonna have to go check him out, read up on him, see what, not just the charges, what I mean, but what he represented and what he brought to the table for the people. I'm curious now for sure. I'm curious for sure. Yeah, they did what they do, make up false sexual charges. All right, man. Shit. Let me go up in here. I want to drop this right quick. I thought this was powerful as well. Not but profound. And again, it addresses a lot of what we talk about and speak on daily, whether we in this channel or this chat or not. I'm pretty sure most of us have these conversations, if not with others, ourselves, So let's get to this and see what it's about, y'all.
Anything except going within yourself. But the only way out of this physical realm, right, is within yourself. A lot of people don't want to do the inner work. They don't want to heal, and they don't want to spend time in nature, right? They don't want to ground. They don't want to meditate. They don't want to open up their pineal gland. So these are the people who are not going to be able to make it to the new world, right? Once we, as the chosen ones, truly remember who we are, it's game over. Their whole system will collapse, and they know this. This is why they attack us the most, right? This is why they keep us in concentration camps, also known as the ghetto, also known as the hood, right? Where they surround you with corner stores and liquor stores that have nothing but things that's going to lower your frequency. Why doesn't anybody question why everywhere in the hood they literally only had tobacco and processed food? It's going to kill you. Like, I literally got in an argument a few times, like back in the day, with the corner store. I'm like, why don't you have bananas, apples, and oranges? This is the easiest thing you can have. You can sell, and we will buy it. Watermelon. Niggas love fruit. Why are they not doing this? Because they want to disconnect us from our pineal gland, right? They want to disconnect us from our higher mind. This is why I fast daily. This is why I'm in nature daily. Being by a stream of water for at least 10 minutes a day will heal you. Can heal you, right? This is why they put us in cities and put us all on top of each other. And it's so sad that most people from the hood are scared of nature. Like, I used to try to bring my hood friend, my ghetto friends, out to nature. Blind girl, I ain't trying to sit down and get dirty. It's bugs, it's this, it's that. This is how you heal, right? This is how you go within. This is how you tap. Ashe Mami Wata, Ashe Mami Wata, Ashe Mami Wata, right? This is where the true magic begins. In nature, healing, meditating. Like I said, once we remember who we are, it's game over. It's game over. They don't want you to remember. They don't, because they know if we don't remember, we're going to continue staying in loops called karma, also known as samsara. Loops, right? Instead of evolution, the spiral, no, you're going to just be looping in karma cycles over and over again until you go within and do the inner work and truly love yourself, right? But this is what they don't want to tell you. They want anybody telling you that the answers is outside of yourself is full of shit. Everything you need is within you. All the answers are within you. Go in nature and meditate, bro. Watch how we raise the frequency of the earth. Watch how a lot of lower vibrational people start to fucking die as we just meditate in nature and heal. As we just heal Mother Earth. People think the war is a spiritual war this time. It's not a physical war. It's a spiritual war, right? So we just heal as the chosen ones, as the collective. Watch how everything falls into alignment with us. Everything that's always demonic, rape, pedophilia, killing, stealing, all that is a collective shadow of trauma that has not been dealt with and healed because we don't remember who we are. So you're continuously doing these same karma loops that you have been doing for incarnations, for lifetimes. This is nothing new. This is why it's imperative to heal and go within yourself. So anything.
All right. I can appreciate that too. Real spit. I can appreciate that, man. Man. All right. All right, man. Yeah, drop something about that, you know. And this is again, it's not. I don't find it odd or crazy, but these are things we discuss often, you know. Just tapping in, man. Just tapping in, going within, trying to find that frequency, that that vibe, that wavelength. You know what I mean, to get to where we need to be. You know. I find that interesting that she even spoke like that. That's why I dropped it, because again, we discuss, or we have those types of discussions as often as possible. All right. Al said, man, Dr. York fell maybe a decade or two ago. I'm gonna have to look at that. Yeah, for real. He was definitely about blackness. His case can be viewed by all as public record. Yeah, I'm gonna go and look up into that, man. I'm gonna check that out real spit, man. All right, salute right back to you, James. James Cash say salute, Big Bub. Right back to you, bro. Right back to you. Hopefully everything is everything. Here you are, man. So it's a good look. You say we got to synchronize. Yeah, man. We got to synchronize. Even when we have those thoughts or those feelings that we don't want to. It's all for the best. We say it again here often that none of us is actually going to get this thing done by ourselves. We actually need each other to get to that point where we can realize, what the purpose is, what I mean, for our being, what I mean. We need each other to get there, man. That's what I think, man. Soldier said, man, his teachings, I would say, are somewhat cosmic, dimensional, or galactic. Church folk wasn't ready for that conversation. And then you notice it's a lot of that too, when some of our kings and queens, gods and goddesses get to talking in terms of cosmic connections and that galactic energy and all that, they turn off immediately. They turn off, but I don't know. There could possibly be a lot of truth in that. Were or are we connected like that? I don't know. Again, I tend to think we are, but I don't know enough to know that exactly. You know what I mean? Like the sister was saying, I don't, often or at all go sit by a stream, that's flowing. Last time I was by one is maybe 6 months ago, and I went there. I enjoyed it actually. It was nice in the woods. It was nice. Me and a few loved ones, as a matter of fact, we went to visit one of the loved ones. Hang out with him, and hope that we looked at it as our gathering, coming to see him, bring our energy, would help him do better, and it did. But yeah, that was the last time I was by a stream. Me and a few homeboys, we actually went out there and just, boom, quiet as hell, taking it all in. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of what I should be doing, I know that I'm not. But again, I'm a work in progress still. I'm still trying to figure this thing out to the point where, okay, I know, well, to the point where everything I do will be, it'd be a synchronization to it. It would be in its place. Nothing will be missed, what I mean, in terms of what I'm supposed to do daily. So I'm looking forward to that. I just am, because I think there's something there. I just think I haven't found that, that spot yet. I haven't, went within deep enough yet to get to that point. All right. Yeah, I appreciate that, Soldier. And he says teachings, I would say, are somewhat cosmic, dimensional, or galactic. Church folks wasn't ready for that conversation. Yeah, when you get talking about, again, cosmos, or what's cosmic, dimensional, or galactic stuff, yeah, it'll turn a lot of people off. And we said facts, sister. I'll say, James Cash, man, salute, King. I hope that all is well with you and your tribe, black man. Nothing but love and respect to you, soldier. I truly appreciate your presence here. Real spit, man. And we all do. That goes for each and every one of us. And, that's, yeah, she sounds like LePsyche, huh? Yeah, LePsyche get to going in, talking about the frequencies and everything. Yeah. You be mesmerized. You be like, you been spellbound because she delivering, I think, facts. Like I said, I'm just scratching at the surface, but I'm telling you a lot of what I hear in that regard. It don't just jive with me, but I feel the flow of it. You know what I mean? I feel it. I feel the energy of it. So yeah, that's a psych all the way right there. Yeah. All right, James say, man, okay, Al, man, likewise, my brother, I love you. Sending mine in full effect to you and yours. All love and respect. Happy Wednesday, King One. All right. I have a question. I have a serious question too, bub. When us brothers and sisters do come together, what we gonna do about the sellouts like Michael Jordan, Oprah, Jay-Z, and all of them? They part of the problem, bub. I don't know. I'm of the mind like this, man. When brothers and sisters come together, I'm thinking, man, my spirit says, man, that's not good. They're not gonna be the focus. They're not even gonna matter when we come together, because then there's something that's gonna be in progress. That something real. She was doing this, is going to take place. That evolution, man, in terms of how we see a lot of our brothers and sisters who we think or feel have sold us out or traded us in for trinkets and dollars. I think that once we reach that level, that plane, man, where we're connecting seriously, I mean, spiritually in this shit for real, they're not gonna matter. They're, we like most things, man, or people, man, I think there'll be a sense of forgiveness for them. We'll be, that's what I think, man. I think, man, we're gonna be, so into what we know we're coming into. That's where our focus is gonna be. Our focus is not gonna be retribution. I don't think. I don't think it's gonna be about getting them back or revenge, making them pay for all the wrongs that they helped them do to us. I don't see that. For whatever reason, I just don't see that, bro. I see us, when this thing happens, elevating. We will evolve, man. And it's going to be those of us that, that connection is going to mean everything. When them sparks are lit, man, it's going to be, those streams are going to attach each and every one of us spiritually. We're not going to be, I don't think we're going to be on that. I don't think we're going to be about vengeance, or setting people straight or making them pay for. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think, though, that when this happens, man, the world will change, and it's going to be, it will seem like overnight, and everything will follow. Everything will follow. Our focus is going to be now, living up to, our existence, what our purpose is about, what we're here for. It's going to be all that. That's what I think that's going to involve. I don't think it's going to involve anything else. Not in that respect anyway, but a lot of, that's not to say, I think corruptness and evil, on its own merit would get out the way. It's going to get out the way of that power, that force. It's going to get out the way quick. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with, I just don't. I think the force that's going to be in us, that power, man, is going to, man, it's gonna make them run and hide in the hills and in the holes and shit. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Yeah, though they are part of the problem, we got them all day, every day. And again, we had that discussion about those individuals. Those individuals on a higher echelon of what we call, the sellout types or whatever. We got a whole lot of them on our level. We got more on our level than we do have, those individuals on that level that tend to rub elbows with, those people that run everything, But again, even in that respect, man, I don't think it's going to be something we're going to be, that's not going to be our focus. I just don't. My vibe says that, man. The energy says that. That's not, we're going to be on something, man, that it's going to blow everybody's mind, except for those who are in connection, who've connected, with the power, with the source. Their mind's not going to be blown because they're going to be open. You know what I mean? The third eye going to be wide open. And so their shit going to be popping. So yeah, I figured that if anything's to be done about them, it should be now, because I think when we get to that point, they're not going to be an issue. They're not going to be a concern for us. That's what I think. You say real talk though, my brother. What we got to do with these busters, sellouts, when our kings and queens reclaim the throne. Okay, what we gonna do with these buster ass sellouts when our kings and queens reclaim the throne? Are these goofy buster sellouts with the same skin gonna jump on our ship? And again, I think it's bigger than that, man. I don't know. I just think it's bigger than that, man. And again, if I even think that if any of us are looking for retribution, when we attain a certain level of consciousness, man, then that would destroy that. You know what I mean? You probably end up losing it and having to start all over again or something. So I don't think that's going to be an issue or a factor. I just don't. Once the mind opens up, man, that's like fly shit, man. That is smaller than that. Smaller than a grain of sand. It ain't going to be nothing. That would distract us. We're already on our mission. We shit full steam ahead. That's not gonna be nothing. Yeah. I hear you, bro. You say you're looking at it from a reality standpoint, right? When Michael Jordan or Al Sharpton as my neighbor, they knew better. They do know better than the slave masters. Yeah, again, man. Yeah, we're gonna see how that play out. And again, I don't think we're gonna be even mindful of that shit. I'm just looking for, actually, when I think about it, internally, but spiritually, I'm rejoicing on the fact that we got there. You know what I mean? That's why I be at on this shit, man. And I tell you, my soul, there's a certain energy and flow to it when I think of that. It's like, it's almost like it's bursting. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I can feel it throughout. And that's what I'll be on. I'll be like, man, I actually forget about them, and think more about like, damn, man, we headed there, it's on and cracking, that's why I be, man. That's why I be, I don't know. I think it's a lot to this stuff, man. We could barely cipher, man. We can't even get to just yet. They ain't had nothing to do with the physical self. You know what I mean? It may, but for the most part, I think most of what's going to take place internally, spiritually, and from that, man, we will work outward from that. We'll work, internally, externally, through the external or to that. So yeah, man, it remains to be seen, but I trust it. I trust that, man. They're gonna be so, we ain't gonna waste no time on them, bro. That's what I think. Soldier says yes. Yes to what, Soldier? I know what you mean, sister. I know what you mean, but I love to hear you break it down from time to time. You put it in. You are a wealth of information and wisdom as well, and that's what I appreciate about this Get Out. And from time to time, and actually, I was about to say from time to time, we kind of fall off when we get lost in the sauce, so to speak. So I want to say right quick, that's unacceptable. You know what I mean? That should be unacceptable, especially when we're having discussions that's supposed to improve us, that's supposed to empower us. So what's unacceptable is any behavior or conversation that could lead to, anger and shit like that, where it's disrespectful. We can't tolerate it here. Let's just keep it straight. Let's be 100 about that. This can't be no different in terms of how we deal with this on this platform or channel than I did or we did when we were doing interviews with loved ones from the streets. They kept it together. They kept it respectful, even if they disagreed with anybody. You know what I mean? It was always respectful. And that's how it must remain here. We can't allow that. No, none of that. So, I'm saying that to say, hey, man, there's a lot for us to receive on this Get Down, but we got to be willing to receive it. All right. That includes myself and others. We have brothers and sisters here who are highly intelligent, who are wise, about their business, you know. So let's remain that way. Let's remain that way. Let's build one another up, and let's not tear one another down because we disagree or we have a dislike for something. All right, that is. And let's move on. Because I've said it, and that's the last time it's gonna be said. Let's be mindful of this one thing, man. Again, love and respect. Love and respect. That enables our unity. All right, gotta have it. Yeah, sister, I see. Say yes. So Janice said, man, I'm over here just smiling and screaming. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I love it, though, when you drop that wisdom up in there. I'm telling you, it goes a long way. I swear you the queen mother, and you share that to us in such a way, the rest of the queens, they be like, not necessarily praising you, but paying homage, like, okay, go and drop them gems and them jewels, and we do it. I do it. I listen to you. Shit, hell yeah. I ain't heard nothing wrong, as far as I can tell. So, yes, come on in here, man. All right, Henry, you say righteous brother, man. All right, Raymond Skull, what it do, loved one? Raymond Skull, man, 102A. Peace, prosperity, all the brothers, man, from Inglewood, man, to Pasadena, and all that in between. Los Angeles, all the rays, peace and prosperity. You already know how I go, man. Love to you and your fam. And I take it that everything is everything today with you and yours, all right? If not, there's still time. We can work on it, You're going to say salute to you, bub. Peace and blessings, bro. Shout out to the kings and home queens in the Royal Group congregation. B1 equals black first, y'all. In case any of you don't know, black first. This is the mantra, man. That should be the mantra. And again, it has no political affiliation. You know what I mean? It's just something we think that carries weight. We say it enough. We mean it. You say it loud enough, just say it enough and mean it. It carries weight. It actually, you pay attention to it, we get to the point where we get to overstand or understand what some of our problems are, or how some of our problems came to be. We wasn't putting us first. We allowed everybody and everything else to come before us or to place things in front of us saying, no, this first, then you, and we went along. Them days should be about over. We should be about, turning that corner on that any day now, any day now. That's the beauty in this thing. But good to see you up in here, Raymond Skull. One love, bro. Soldier Denise said, man, look, those types won't even matter. They really don't matter now. They've chosen their path, as have we. All right. Unfortunately, they chose the wrong side, as we have become unstoppable. And that's so true. And they're what is the word for it? They're all in on that side. They are all in. They have no intention of coming home or joining or adding to the positivity, the empowerment of the people, the uplifting of the people. They have no intention of doing that. They've already been given their papers. They've already been threatened. There's no way, you know what I mean? Now, I would be shocked. If, I would be shocked if one of them said, hey, man, dang the devils. I'm home, let's get it done. I'll be shocked. It made me think about individuals, man, when we're talking about celebrities anyway, like Prince. A lot of people think that this guy was a closed book. And in a lot of respects, he was, But the dude's spirituality, oh, man, it was deep. It was deep. It was deep. And then his messages, they weren't necessarily esoteric. They wasn't, hard to discern or decipher. They were said in such a way you had to listen, because he had been telling the people for a long time, But, thinking about celebrities, he was one that, he didn't play their game. And I think that's why he's not here. Not the fact that he OD'd on some, I don't buy that for a minute. You know, no more than I do that Michael Jackson's doctor accidentally overdosed him. I don't believe that shit, not for a minute. But when we're talking about Prince, hey, that dude, he was rap tight. He was rap tight. And, you know, shit. I'm a fan to this day. But yeah, those individuals who've chosen, you know, to be where they are, that's on them. That's on them, man. You know, and again, for us to be wanting to be back and forth about them, what they're not doing, as opposed to what they're doing for those over there, that's a distraction. It's a distraction, you know. So rather than us, okay, let's continue to focus on what we need to be doing, we want to tend to look to the side and see what they're doing and say, look at that. Look at what they're doing. Now, you know, our energy's here when it should be here. You know what I mean? So, hey, man, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. I trust that shit. I trust that everything will be everything, you know. And again, for me, it took a long time. It took a long time, man. I'm not even there yet. I'm not even, man, I'm not a fifth of the way, man, but I'm excited about the way. You know what I mean? You know, that's why I'm, you know, shit. Anyway. And we all should be that way, you know, in ourselves, spiritually speaking. We should be excited about, you know, the path we're on, this journey, man, because that's what it is. That's what it is, man. At least that's what I think. Yeah. Soldier Denise said, man, those types won't even matter, James. You heard her? They really don't matter now. They've chosen their path, as have we. All right. Unfortunately, they chose the wrong side, as we have become unstoppable. You know, there's a phrase going around said, you know, brothers and sisters, kings and queens are waking up now. That shit is true. That shit is true. But I think what the issue is that a lot of us, you know, the word is getting out there, but there are a lot of us still in the process of, they're coming out of their slumber. It's slow. It's slow. It's a slow, you know, process for them. They, you know, they still groggy. You know what I mean? You know, they still got, you know, sleep in the eye. You know, they fighting that third ring sleep. You know, they trying to come up out of it, you know, but it's hard. You ever had that dream? Or when you sleep, you want to wake up, but for whatever reason, you cannot. That's what I think a lot of them might be going through, you know? They can't get up, but, you know, for whatever reason, the Matrix, they working on it, though. The Matrix got them. They caught up, but they're working on breaking or unplugging. It's a process. It is a process. And we got to appreciate it, you know, for them. And we do that by being focused, you know, and we continue, you know, that saying, and each one teach one, each one reach one. All it takes is one. That's all it takes. And before you know it, man, we're up and running. And people are working against it. They see it more or better than we do. You know, they see it better than we do. You know, they understand it, you know, to a greater extent than we do, because in their minds, they have more to lose. That's what they're attached to, you know, this materialistic stuff, man, this, you know, this power, or what they think is power. That's what they, in their minds, they stand to lose every bit of it. And they don't want that, you know, so they're trying hard, you know, and that's why they got them individuals, you know, in our peripherals, you know, sports, singers, you know, rappers, and, you know, they're there for you know, to distract us, you know, divert your energy and attention on this over here. Don't worry about all that. We gonna show y'all the way, you know, this the way, no. So yeah, that's something, man, that's going on. No doubt. Appreciate that, soldier. Real spit. Sam Evans said, man, ain't no stopping us now, Big Bub. You know that song, y'all. I think I was playing that this Saturday. You know, I was straightening up around the house, whatnot, and it came on. I said, yeah, man, that's some real spit. I forget who made it exactly. I'll probably tell you later, but that ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. That shit is hard, you know, and it sounds simplistic, but listen to the lyrics. That day, man, Yeah, we've had a long way to go. I think we're here though. I think we're knocking at, we're knocking at the door, man. So appreciate you up in there though, Sam Evans. Chris said, Bub, have you seen the new MJ movie? Yep. The wife. Now, I'm funny. And I was thinking Rakufu would have figured this out a couple of weeks ago about movies and shit. I'm real funny. I didn't watch a lot of movies in prison. I watch movies now, really tell you the truth. She might not agree, but I'll tell you the truth. Because she put them on the TV. If her TV didn't come on, I wouldn't watch movies because I don't turn mine on, very rarely. If I put some oldies on my thing, I put some jazz, something, But if I watch movies, I'm in more like, the superhero shit. You know what I mean? That type of get down. Because I think they're, for me, who they call superheroes, I think that's us. It has a lot to do with us. That's why I like them, you know what I mean? But that's what I would watch more than anything. But yeah, man, she'll put a movie on, man, and boom. So she put it on, MJ. And initially I was like, all right. Actually, it was a good movie. I thought it could have been way better. But I understand, I kind of get how producers think, you know what I mean? How these film houses are, these corporations. Don't want to say too much, do too much, but I thought it was a good movie overall. Yeah, we saw it. We saw it, man. Good flick. Actually, good flick. I mean that, Did you like it yourself? Did you see it? Tell me what you thought about it, man. I thought it was good, man. I thought it was good. Brother was going through some stuff, man, like we all do, though, huh? And it our struggles, our trials and tribulations, they tend to affect us differently. This one thing I learned over time. We don't experience everything the same way, man. We react to a lot of things differently, a lot of us can't handle a lot initially, so we tend to unravel right then and there. Then a lot of us, we can withstand it. We can withstand it. It builds up, then boom. It manifests in some form of fashion with a lot of others, on the outside looking in, be like, oh, that mug is weird. What the hell wrong with her? What is he thinking? That's just how that works, man. So, I have a certain respect for the guy. I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to whatever those issues were concerning him, I was about to say I don't necessarily trust them, I don't trust what was said, you know what I mean? I don't, because I understand why they would say it. He had done things to these record execs, those black hat people that, that they just find to be unacceptable, and they'll send their mob or whatever to do whatever, you know what I mean? And then not on that, but he owned things that they were like totally against, and he did his own thing. But yeah, the movie, it was great. It was great. My wife's had tend to go on and on like the break of dawn. But yeah, there's a lot to be said about that movie, actually. And Rakufu and I think James have both mentioned in the past, movies is something we can discuss. You know what I mean? Let's get down to, what, our interpretation of movies and shit. And then we, speak even in length to other things or those individuals who play the roles in these movies. That is. But anyway, yeah, man, did you check it out, man? And did you enjoy it as well, Chris? I enjoyed it, All right, Frederick, I see you, brother. I'm going to give you right back. This Frederick Hadzaby. All right, good to see you. I think that was Fo. Poke, what it do, loved one? He said, what it do, bub? Salute to you and the UTG and RGC. I'm right on time. Thank you for your leadership, bub. Loving our people should be a priority, and the respect will follow. Black first. That goes for each and every one of us, y'all. It should be, it should be something each and every one of us push, Leadership, man, should be something we should all be obligated, to play a role in, or have a position in that in some form of fashion. Those saying, those who lead, lead, those who teach, teach. And there's another one that those who teach, and then those who, it was something like that. Those who can lead, though, they lead, and those who teach, teach. But there's another part to it. I can't bring it up right now, but it was a significant saying or quote. Raymond Cole said, man, I won't stay on this subject, but I trust no one is surprised by Clarence Thomas. We were headed there. Good lead, though. Thank you. Remember, he is a constituent of the American corporation. So he is serving their interest, not ours. Again, that's one of them people who are placed there to create confusion, chaos, or distractions. You know what I mean? We know it. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you bringing it up, Roscoe, is even better. So we know what it is. And again, these people or these things, these issues and circumstances they involve themselves in are not by mistake. Even though a lot of us don't see it or won't look at it like this, he's a distraction. He's been placed there purposely to have black folks in consternation, to have us scratching our damn heads. What happened to him, And we'll waste energy, focus, time trying to figure out this guy, man, when he's already chose, like the sister said. He's already figured out his side. And we have to be not cool with it, don't get me wrong, but we have to be accepting of it to a point or degree where, okay, that's you, man. Let's focus, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, man, we were just talking about, we were talking about the other day, they're going to gut, or they already have gutted the Voting Act of 1965. I was reading something today on it, as a matter of fact, talking about that in one breath. And see, this is how contradictory this shit is, man. In one breath, what was done is going to hurt, is going to affect, black voters, Oh, but on the other hand, there's a way, or we could possibly get more power and more say of control, because as a result of it, I'm trying to figure out how the hell, But I had a sister in the comments today, and she said, brother, she had tapped in, said, hey, I like your podcast. She was talking about Tapped. And she said, but that's a mistake to have the people or ask the people not to vote. We made that mistake, and Donald Trump ended up in office, right? It was some quote he made about, hey, just, get me in there one more time or something, and I'm going to fix everything. And I told her, I say, sister, what he said is no different than what any Democrat, be he a House representative, congressperson, or senator, be he a mayor, on the city council, the assembly, they all tell the same lie. That's what they do in a campaign. And once they get in, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. It really doesn't matter. This is what I was telling her. So my response was that. And also I added to it. I said, man, our suggestion, or my suggestion at the time, is only that we don't vote for free no more. No one else does it. We're the only voting bloc that does it. The Jews, when they vote, the Mexicans, when they vote, the Asians, when they vote, anybody else, when they vote, the white, they get something in return for their votes. There is a transaction that takes place. There is a transaction, whether it is a institutional transaction, whether they getting buildings, new roads, or whatever. There is a quid pro quo. There's a give and take. They're getting something for their vote before the vote even happened. So that's all I was saying to her. And that's all I'm saying, period, to anybody. Wait a minute, man. Don't just vote because, hey, man, this is what our people been doing. And I'm, come on, man. That shit is, it's a grift, man. It's a hustle. Okay, they want the vote so bad. Man, line them up before the fact. Don't wait. Don't allow them to come back when the midterms come around, or when it's election time all over again, and say, want to court the people for the vote. But wait a minute, man. You've been in office 2 to 4 years. Show us what you've done. As a matter of fact, we could show you what hasn't been done. Why are you back here, or why are you here again asking for our vote for free again? That's all I'm saying. If they want our vote that bad, if our vote really matters, hey man, make them pay for it. Make them pay for it. Attach a transactional exchange with this get down. See, because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Up in the Senate and in Congress, all them representatives in the House of Representatives, all of them, you know, they vote, right? Each and every one of them, they vote for all kind of shit. They get paid for their vote. And I don't mean they pay number. I don't mean what they make annually. That's why you got so many lobbyists on Capitol Hill. They go and pay for votes. Well, god dang, if they can do it, you know those saying, what's good for the goose, gotta be great for the gander. They get paid for their vote. The lobbies come and they say, man, we need this bill passed. We need you to get this assembly bill on the floor, and okay, what I'm gonna get? Okay, we're gonna donate 100,000, man, or whatever cause it is you got. Matter of fact, we'll give it to you under the table. Most of these politicians, Democrat or Republican, black or white, Mexican, whatever, Asian, whatever, they're millionaires, man. You don't become a damn millionaire, man, on the paycheck that they get. They make 170-some thousand a year. All right. Man, they getting inside trader information. They getting paid under the table, man. These people are corrupt. And to ask that our votes bring about a result, you know, before you get to campaigning for us or claiming to campaign to do something for us, produce. That's it. Them people up on Capitol Hill, when them lobbyists come in here, they say, we want this, that, and the third. And all of them do it. They get paid first. Then they'll go and vote. They'll vote for, send Israel $24 billion for weapons. Send Israel another $10 billion for technology. It's what they do. So I don't understand how that shouldn't work for us as well, especially if we're voting. Make them pay for it. But we want to see it in real time. I think that's so doable. So I said enough on that, man. Anyway, but yeah, man. So Clarence Thomas, that should not come as a shock to us. And how many of them are there? You know, Clarence Thomas's, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, you know. And as well as a sister that's sitting up part of SCOTUS as well. Hey, man, they playing ball. That's it. That's all. They are saying, basically, I know what side my bread is buttered on, man. I don't care about what my people saying. I'm with the winning team. I can do this for life. I can sit up, man, and if they tell me to vote one way and I'm going to get a new estate somewhere in Virginia, Maryland, Bethesda, Maine, somewhere, wherever, I'm doing that. So, hey, sad, man. Sad as hell. But that's what's happening. It's no different than LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, any of them, man, doing what they do and saying, man, fuck y'all. I got mine. Now you go get yours. You know, that's that Killer Mike mentality, you know. Nah, man. We can't be we can't be stuck on this, man, because this shit been going on a long, long time. I think that it's just now. I think that it's now. The collective is waking up now. You know what I mean? You know, and no doubt about it, man. There'll be noise made. You know, it'll trickle down to those who are you know the real live revolutionaries gonna get out and let me know, man. We know you sold us out. Put him out there. You know, nothing to come of it. But hell, you know, nothing, I don't think he'd even be embarrassed or ashamed. You know, but hey, man, this shit is going on regardless, man. And I'm telling you. It's done in a lot of ways or a lot of instances to distract us. That like now we're having this conversation about them doing that rather than say, okay, man, what must we be doing? What must we do? Like, you know, talking about the vote. And I'm saying, hey, man, I'm telling this sister, and I'll say this to anybody, You know, our brothers and sisters who advocate to go vote or tell our people to go vote. For what? For what? All them votes point to something that was brought to your community from that politician during his first campaign. Show it. Show it. Show his interest in that community. Not sometimes, but all the time, especially if they're representing that district. Show it. And if ain't nothing being done, that mug ain't doing nothing. Ain't nowhere in the world, man, we supposed to go and just do that. I just don't think that's the case, you know? So, yeah. But we got that like that. That, you know, that's out there. That's out there. Black first, man. That's the only way. But Raymond Scott, again, he said, man, listen, I won't stay on this subject, but I trust no one is surprised by Clarence Thomas. And again, you hit the nail on the head. And I'm gonna tell you, the way they do things, man, they do it, man. They do it, man, to distract us, to siphon our focus and our energy, man, and put it on this dude. We know this dude, man. We know this dude since Anita Hill. We've been knowing about this cat since Anita Hill, man. Him and his white wife. You know, I mean, they no power to him. I don't mean nothing by that per se. You know, but we know. Come on, man. We know. So, hey, all right. We didn't expect nothing less. You know, you met our expectations. That mug got up there and said anything other. You know, if he went against that and then had, you know, and put out the descending, you know, when it slipped my mind right now. You know, well, that would be for the lead justice, but you know, or descending paper, whatever, a comment. It would have shocked us then, but for him to go the way he goes, like, yeah, that's your MO, man. You know, so to hell with him. I hear you though. He said, Roscoe again though. He said, man, remember, he is a constituent of the American corporation, so he is serving their interests, not ours. Pope Mitchell said, man, focus on the focus, people. Focus on the focus. Dean and Whitehead, ain't no stopping us now. There you go. Thank you, Queen and Zinga. Yeah, that is a classic. Well, no, McFadden and Whitehead. Chris said, did you peep how MJ had the mind of a 10-year-old? Yeah. But, you know, look at how, you know, man, look, man, we are so affected, man, in so many ways. The way, you know, Joe Jackson, you know, did everything. And then they depict Joe Jackson as just, you know, he's a part of the system. It's greed. That's all that mattered to him. To them, he wasn't nothing but money, a paycheck, you know. I got the impression from jump there was no love. They're just business. You know what I'm saying? Even jealousy, you know, and the animosity in the end when Mike decided to do his own thing, man, you know. So Mike had to deal with that shit. You know, imagine you're 19, 20, and 22, 23, and your daddy's still beating you up, man, like you're a cat in the streets, slapping on you and, you know, punking you. Come on, man. That dude just, he never had a childhood. So I don't know. Again, some people deal with a lot of trauma and things of that nature differently, man. You know, he wanted to be Peter Pan. Peter Pan loved the kids, you know. He wanted to be Peter Pan, man. So, you know, that was his escape. You know, that was his escape. You know, it's true. You know, a lot of us have that. You know, we have something that we use as escapism, as a, you know, as a means to escape reality. Whole lot of that, man. Yeah, sad, but yeah. Yeah. Chris said, man, do you think MJ had what we call autism? Nah, because I think MJ was very intelligent. but a lot of autistic children and people are actually intelligent, just in different, aspects. But MJ, no, I don't think he was autistic. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. If you think so, tell me why. I didn't catch that. I didn't see that, Chris, you're going to say, man, I know his father took him out of school at 10 years old. Yeah. Mike, man, Mike been through some stuff. Shit, look at Jermaine. Y'all think, we just focus on Mike because he was the most famous. Look at Jermaine. Look at LaToya. All of them fucked up. All of them messed up, man. Jermaine sitting up, man, the shit he's doing is some weird shit, sex with his brother's ex-wife, having babies and all this stuff with her. Whole lot of funny stuff going on. This man's still slicking back his hair, man. 71 years old. Jermaine remind me of an old player. Like one of them old players, man, back in the day, just ain't gonna quit, man. Old Dapper Dan type cat, but with a little more, flair and flash, to his outfits, I don't know, man. They all got issues, though. Sad to say. Sad to say. Queen Nzinga said, yeah, Mike was stuck in his child years. He never got the chance to be a kid. His body was grown, but his mind was not. And I think his mind was grown because he made grown decisions, especially getting towards the time when he had grown up and he started making these cosmetic changes. You know what I'm saying? So, there were times he would revert or seem to display the mindset of a child, but there are a lot of times too, in the movie anyway, he displayed adult thinking, those processes that adults utilize to get shit done. So, I don't know. But good point there, Queen. All right, Hulan the Survivor, he's back. What's up with it, loved one? You say, salute right back to you, bro. You say, haven't seen the MJ movie yet. Tapped into UTG for sure. Okay, well, I'm going to stop spoiling for you, bro. I won't say nothing else about it, man. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Good to see you here, brother. Everybody, please like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to this Get Down, man. This is Under the Groove podcast, man. Each and every one is welcome, man. Let's come in and focus on the focus, y'all. Let's get it in. All right. Chris said, man, I feel like he had so many big brothers, they could have done more for him. All of them were in fear of Joe. All of them except for Kate, the wife. She probably would, but, when it came to, they kind of depicted or tried to show where when he went overboard, she would step in and probably go and take that ass whipping for him, or something like that. I don't know, but she seemed to have been the only one who stood up to him. Everybody else, the way they portrayed it, were in fear of him, were in fear, so yeah, all them brothers, I don't know, man, shit. Boy, shit, my daddy got his ass whooping on her, or even touching my mama, or just being, that abuse shit, nah, that wouldn't have went far, man. Henry Cedello said, man, the Jackson family had a hand on the making of the biopic of Mike, which is good. Yeah, and I did read that. So that gives it some authenticity, no doubt. You know what I mean? So then you have to take into account those instances in the movie where they were showing, certain mental stress, you know what I mean? Or indications of physical abuse, the possibility, the probability of physical abuse. It existed. It existed, and then Joe acted the way he acted, all Joe cared about was that bread, man. He did not care about none of them. Not a one of them. Joe looked like he was a cold piece, man. Could have been a cold killer too, for all I know. Yeah, good point though, Henry. Yeah, the family had a hand in that. That's good. Hulan, the survivor, say, man, I saw MacArthur Park raid on the news from up here in Sac. Over 40 years of drug transactions at that location. Yeah, me and my wife was checking it out. I swear, man, these fools had an army fatigue. My wife said initially that they said it was maybe DEA. When I saw, I said, man, is that ICE? Is that, the Border Patrol? But it was paramilitary. They were paramilitary out the game. And no doubt, man, the cartel is, up and running, man. So, 40 years of that, whoa, that's a run. That is a run. And that's so late, you know what I mean? That's so late, 40 years. I don't know. I don't know, man, because I think they got the wherewithal, the technology, the technology, knowledge, and snitches to where that didn't have to last no 40 years. You know what I mean? Just think about that, man. Shit. I don't know. Yeah. Raymond Skull said, man, see, those acts were only on paper. Even the Civil Rights Act. But in reality, they've continued discriminatory actions. All right, those acts were deceptive and meant to lure us to sleep. No doubt. And so, excuse me, they were signed, those acts came into play when LBJ was in office. And go back and check those tapes out. He was a cold supremacist. He was a cold white supremacist. He couldn't stand us. I think that was 1965. LBJ was in office. So none of that, that was all for show. That was all for show, every bit of it, real spit, And so they just snatched the rug out from under the people, but you know what? Think about it like this too, though, Roscoe. We should have been mindful that was coming when Trump was able to shut down DEI and affirmative action. As a matter of fact, as a matter of speaking, in regards to DEI, man, that's affecting people. Taking that out of play is affecting people of color, especially us, our women, especially. Because there's a statistic, and it's factual, actually, that Black women hold the most degrees. Look what he did last year. From last year to up until January, I think, maybe even February, he got rid of over 300,000 sisters from, good jobs. Good jobs, in the process that he was attacking DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, I think it is, and affirmative action. Now, as a result, those who hire now, guess what? Oh, the prejudice and the discrimination is coming out in droves. Sisters are complaining, man, that they can't even, people won't even hire them now. Discrimination ain't even a thing no more, not in that respect. So, that was just on paper, man. I don't know. I think about a lot of shit, man. Some of though, it's like water under the bridge. What good is going to come of it now? Talk about it. Those individuals who were in a position to understand what was coming down the pipes, but did nothing. Not only did they do nothing to keep, secure what was supposedly guaranteed, but they brought nothing to the table or did not bring anything to the table for us per se. A judicial scholar, constitutional scholar, and did not catch none of this. Come on, man. This shit crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, there that is, y'all. You ain't lying though, Roscoe. Those acts, every one of them are deceptive, and that includes everything that they actually got running in this thing called the Constitution. You know, better be mindful of that one, y'all. But one day it might, if we don't hear and get together, one day they're gonna be like, man, the First Amendment don't apply to you. Second Amendment ain't got nothing to do with you. Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, you know, because we all, we've all said when they went after the Mexicans and the illegals, whatever, like they did, we all knew, yeah, they'll be coming after us sooner rather than later. You know what I mean? They'll be coming. How they gonna come? We don't know yet. We better hurry up and figure out to prepare. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Because from day one, I said, hey, they coming. They coming. They are coming. All right, Kimberly Mitchell, how you doing, sister? She said, Hoover, hey, real ones, I'm in the house. Much blessings to my groovy ones. Good to see you here, sister. Peace and prosperity, you queen. Good to see you. Thought about you today. I went and looked like, God dang, okay, what am I not doing right in regards to that orange get down, right? That orange hoodie. I said, okay, shit, now I'm gonna have to actually bug brother-in-law because I'm doing something wrong. So, and I know I keep saying, give me. I went and looked at that thing yesterday. I said, what the hell? I think I'm doing it right. But again, I'm not a pro with this shit. And that's Printify. I never had, well, I didn't actually mess with them anyway. But you do have to instill, the colors and stuff like that, sizes in there. I can do the sizes. For whatever reason, I couldn't get the color in there. So I'll get brother-in-law on it. I'll get him on it. Lonzo, man, Lonzo in the house, man. He said, I'm late, RGC, but I made it fine. But I made it, family. You know what they say, better late than never, bro. That applies to you as well. Good to see you here. You say peace to everyone and Bub and your family, big bro. Right back to you, Lonzo. Peace, prosperity, man, to you and your wife, me and your family, bro. Good to see you here. Yeah, man. Israel, some cold peace. I saw some more shit. They got a cold plan in effect. The Zionist regime of Israel, the black hats. They got something. Well, not only are they trying to steal blacks' homes from right under their noses in New York and probably other states. Don't get it twisted. Just because we're hearing about it happening, what they call deed theft in New York, that they're only doing it there, New York and New Jersey. Nah, they're doing it. They've probably done a gang of times here in California, anywhere between Palos Verdes, Beverly Hills, San Fernando Valley, all over. Ain't no telling. But I caught something on Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'm telling y'all, man, he done said some shit, and the shit is coming out. So he done pissed somebody off to the point where, oh, we got shit on YouTube, Ben. And he's saying pretty much, man, hey, man, we want to destroy America. Can't stand America. They're going to do everything we tell them to do, And, and AI my ass. That ain't no AI. No more than that, the consulate general, the black hat lady, who said what she said about our young brothers and sisters. So they already got shit in effect, man. Yeah. We can hate them all we want. How we going to prepare? How do we prepare for them, knowing what we know? They on a mission. They are on a mission. And the way it's looking, they're not going to get the Middle East like they thought. That ain't going to be that cakewalk they thought they were going to, experience with the help of the U.S., and some Arab nations, that it didn't happen like that. So now they're probably on plan B or C. I think the United States, California, and New York are those two states that they focus on the most. They got everything established here and there, as a matter of fact. It would make sense, but you know, they gonna keep up that plan. I know over there in the Middle East, man, to try to get rid of Iran. They got hegemony over the whole area. They can do what they want then. That's why that's why what's happening over there is happening. It's not because Iran had nothing, you know, no weapons and shit, or even trying to make one. It was about getting rid of them so that Israel can do what they want to do. But that being said, we got an issue here, man. These United States with them people. And they said it out loud, man. Our young brothers and sisters are the problem. And if they said that, they're going to find a way to deal with them just like they Palestinians, Hamas, Lebanese, Hezbollah, those in Syria, Iraq, so our young brothers and sisters, the attack, the approach in terms of warfare may be different. I don't think they can just come and drop bombs on our brothers and sisters, but you know, there are drugs, there's alcohol, there's the media, you know, there's all right. We're gonna have to figure it out, man. Ram said, man, I hold our brothers and sisters of the civil rights era who fought to even get these acts passed. You said, I hold our brothers and sisters of the civil rights era who fought to even get these acts passed. Okay, I feel this government felt pressured and only wanted to pretended to pass these acts. I think, though, part of the problem, or part of why they did it was the human rights movement, you know, the Black Power movement played a role in that as well. Because, you know, a lot of them thought that, you know, when brothers and sisters started chanting, burn, baby, burn, they going to burn this shit. They built it. So, you know, shit, they'll burn it down. You know, that probably played a role in it, you know, just to appease. You know, they knew sitting in the back room, say, man, we can write it in there. Ain't like we can't take it. We wrote it. It's like the money, man. So we can tell them all day we're going broke. We can print money all day long. You know what I mean? We can put it out there or take it back. You know, it's ours, you know. So I think that's probably how they looked at that as well. No telling, though, man. No telling. They could have probably, you know, possibly been under pressure, though, to do that shit. And again, just to appease us. Because, you know, back then, brothers and sisters, they were ready to tear it down. They were ready to burn it down, you know. They had the National Guard in 65, all from California to New York and everything in between. It was going down. So it's a possibility that they were pressured. There you go. Alonzo said, man, pressure busts pipes. Apply the correct pressure. Mm-hmm. There you go, though, Sam Evans. You already know the power is in the people. Always be one. And I get it when they say power to the people, but, you know, I'm not an advocate or fan of that slogan. I think that, man, we already possess the power. We just haven't tapped in yet, you know. We haven't turned it on yet. It's already there. It's ours. We have to know how to wield it, you know, how to activate it, as the saying goes. You know, decode it, whatever. Alonzo said, man, they only passed Civil Rights Act because MLK promised to move the black vote to the Democrats, and they killed him after black people voted for the Democrats. Yeah, there's that, and I've heard that. I've actually heard it. But also, what about the fact that they say, what do you think about the rumor or, you know, the narrative, maybe even propaganda or the lie that Martin was an agent? He was an agent, and the reason why, you know, they end up doing him because he began to speak against, you know, the system in terms of how it was ran and this, that, and the third. You know, he spoke against Vietnam. He spoke against the treatment of blacks, you know, in Memphis, you know, the trash workers and, you know, shit like that. He spoke against, you know, just the system, systematic racism, all that shit that's, you know, systemic in terms of how it affects us negatively. They say that was, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I don't know if he was an agent or not. I got something on it, actually. I just didn't play it. I'll probably think about maybe tomorrow I'll play it, maybe Friday. just have, some type of discussion or comments, or, around it, you see what we think about that one. Raymond Scottman said it's imperative for our real brothers and sisters to figure out a detailed solution to fight back. Use the interpretation of the law against them, civil law to be exact. Yeah, but yeah. You say use the interpretation of the law against them. Yeah, I don't, if they willing, if we see, and yeah, that makes a good point. I think though, the problem when we, when we tend to use their system to fight them with, you know what I mean? When we tend to use the tools that they use on us, or we want to think we can use them against us, the same tools they use on us, that never works out right, and that's part of, I think, I think that's part of the play, part of the us being fooled into thinking that this stuff applies to us like that. You know what I mean? I think that's part of it. We just been misled to think that, yeah, man, well, okay, we're part of this this system. We are citizens, when we're really not, just think, man, if the Voting Rights Act can be, just snatched back and, all this stuff, then, hey, man, it's just a matter of, a few individuals being extreme enough to say, hey, you know what? Had enough of them. Just tell them the truth, So, they think they can use our laws against, those are our laws. We wrote them for us, not them, So I think we make a mistake, man, when we go about it that way. That's what I think. Because that's they built that tool. They built that for them. It doesn't really apply to us. I know a lot of brothers, they go in, they involved with the criminal court system, for instance, and they quote federal law, state law, federal law, and that shit don't matter to them. It don't matter to them, They decide when they want to let it apply to us or not, when they wanted to and when they don't want it to. So I don't know if that's actually a good thing, and we've been doing that. We've been doing that, and look at every instance or occasion that we did do that, that we use, the interpretation of the law against them, in our way, the times that we use civil law to, thwart something or confront them. Look what happened, So I say that to say, man, yes, it's a new day, man. It's a new day. And in that, I think that also concerns or involves not just how we think and see things, even with our third eye, man, but how we deal with things spiritually. It's a new day. I think a lot of things, we can't keep doing the things that our people before us did and expect different results. I don't think that's gonna work. So yeah, solutions need to be created, figured out. Again, we say this all the time. There's no greater, if there's a problem, there's no greater mathematician on the face of the planet to solve it than us, So yeah, I think that's what that would entail. Us going outside the box, and there are a lot of things that we don't do that we could do that's outside the box that would have an immediate effect on them. Immediate, but again, now this calls for not just some of the people, but the majority of the people not to play ball, man, but to be involved and know why they're doing it. And then not only that, but to be willing to go the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is, man. Shit. Lonzo said, man, yo, Raymond, man, peace to you and yours, yo, bro. If y'all can come by to my Bible class, I'll give y'all the tools to activate your melanin. Try me, bro. LOL. All right, Tuesday at 11. And tomorrow's Thursday, I guess. Or is it only on Tuesday? Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Zoom. I'm giving you, Raymond, and everyone in the RGC. I'm inviting you, Raymond, and everyone in the RGC. Okay, go ahead. I'll say Clarence Thomas showed one. I don't know. I think that showed one. Okay, Clarence Thomas showed his true colors in several occasions. He's been compromised, bought and paid for, and that's the point we're making, no doubt. But again, y'all, the truest shit is, man, listen, all of them are. All of them are. They're all bought and paid for, each and every one of them. There's not one righteous politician in office or in the seat of power. Not one. Not one. You know, even if they haven't taken a dime from those lobbyists that, probably more lobbyists on Capitol Hill than it is, House representatives and senators. Ain't no telling. But even if they haven't taken money from the lobbyists in the worst way, they still turn blind eye. They have knowledge of what's going on and they don't do nothing or say anything. They're just as corrupt. All of them are corrupt, So yeah, to your point, I was saying this about, our brothers and sisters over there, man. They sold us out about a month ago. They passed this bill. They reactivated it, a clean bill, a spy bill that was originally created for Afghanistan, and so-called terrorists. They renewed the bill maybe 3 weeks ago. The coldest part about renewing the bill, not to send it back to the Middle East, but to bring it and drop it here in the United States and use it on Black people. I don't know how that didn't get through the news. I don't know how people didn't even catch that. And I did a piece on it on TAP, actually. Bill 702. It's a spy bill. And our esteemed brothers and sisters of the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, voted for the bill to be reinstated, clean bill, and then placed in our communities. Gregory Meeks was the main guy. He was sent by the lobbyists, them people that run everything, to go talk to the CBC. When did that? At first, there was kind of some pushback, like, no, we ain't gonna do it. He went over there, man, sat with the CBC, Jim Clyburn, all of them. You name them, they supported the bill, man. All the ones where we root for, so yeah, he about it, she about it. Not a one said, nah, man, this is wrong. Y'all, what y'all spying on the Black community for? All right. This shit ain't hard, man. I think you got these Black hat people talking about our youth, man, being their only problem. They're worried about our Black youth. Now, what the hell now y'all want to be bringing in surveillance on the Black family, on Black communities for, It's this shit crazy. But no, ain't none of them no good. Clarence Thomas, and he's the coldest because you can't even vote him out. You can't get him off the bench, man. You ain't no way. He had to die. He had to die natural causes, man, to be sick, so he can't do nothing no more. The only way you'll get him off. And they go for any of them. But these politicians are different. Not that I actually trust politics or politicians to do the job of the people, but hey, yeah, Clarence Thomas, man, for a long time been that way. For a long time. All right, Fat Rat, I see you, loved one. He said, peace to you and RGC, Big Bug. Right back to you, Fat Rat Playboy. Good to see you up in here, bro. Peace, prosperity, you and yours, bro. It's always an honor and a pleasure to see you amongst us. Real spit. Appreciate that. Al said, man, Clarence Thomas showed his true colors several occasions. He's been compromised, bought and paid for. And again, yeah, they go for all of them. All of them. I don't think there's a righteous politician with a seat anywhere in this country in politics, from the city level to on up, townships on up, man. All of them are corrupt. Every one of them. Shit. MJ had vitiligo. Yeah, he did. He was trying to hide that shit. He did pretty good hiding it. Right. All right, James. I see you sending out salutes and shouts out, man, to everybody, man. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah. Yep. Here we say, man, I'm just not realizing that Jermaine is the one who is singing the song. Don't take it personal. Banging. Oh, yeah, Jermaine had a couple of hits, man, actually. Jermaine had a couple of hits by himself, actually. Yeah, he was, for whatever reason, he never had a good solo career. He had a couple of hits, though. He had a couple of albums, a few albums, actually. Oh, man. Queen Nzinga said, wait a minute. Y'all funny, though. Y'all funny as hell, man. All right, Queen Nzinga, where you go? Said he made those changes trying to be accepted. I know some grown ass 60-year-old kids right now today. LOL. Yeah. Well, were you talking about Mike or Jermaine? I don't know who made the change. You talking about Mike? But and that's because Mike was doing that. He made them changes early. What was that, Off the Wall album? When he first began to do that, or he did it before that album, actually, I think. But you got a good point. We know a whole lot of 60-year-old children, man. Yeah. 60-year-olds with the minds of 10-year-olds. You ain't never lied. Chris said, man, there comes a time as a bigger brother, you have to step up and give your own father a DP. Yeah, when he's out of line, no doubt, man. No doubt. Raymond Scott said Michael Jackson is the number one digital artist in the world right now. And also his Thriller album has went to 15 on the 200 Billboard chart. My favorite song by him is Baby Be Mine on the Thriller album. Damn. Yeah, man, that Baby Be Mine is good. Damn, me and the wife was just listening to all his shit. And I tell y'all, that's what we do, man. We go back, man. I even go back to his earlier shit when he was a kid. What's that? I treated you bad. I think it's is it a James Brown remake or something? But that shit is hard as hell. That little then he couldn't have been 9 or 10 singing that, I should have never made you cry. That's the shit. And Mike has some hits, man. Mike has some hits, real spit. Man in the Mirror is a hard one, though, Alonzo. You ain't never lied. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that Man in the Mirror. That's an eye-opener right there, man. Huh. Yeah, take a look at yourself. Okay, let me see. Ba 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 ba. James Cash said, man, I know we mentioned it several times already, but again, the music of our brothers and sisters made in them legendary 1970s will never be topped, ever duplicated, nor replicated. That was the pinnacle. Man, real spit, bro. Raymond Scott said, man, if those people had a 40-year run, I'm sure the CIA or feds were running the show. Point made. What you say, shooting dice, point seen, money gone, man. That ain't no lie, bro. That was my first thought. Ain't nowhere in the world, ain't nowhere in the world you're gonna have that long a run unless they running it. Or they, you know what I mean? Yeah. So somebody done fucked up. Excuse my French, y'all. My language. Somebody messed up. Huh. And Queen Nzinga said they need that area for the Olympics and World Cup. They're spending about $40 million on that project. Yeah, they're gonna be disappointed about this World Cup, though. From what I understand, I've been reading lately. Countries everywhere is boycotting the World Cup as well as the Olympics. At least that's what's being said. I was shocked to hear that. Football is a very popular sport, all around the world, But a lot of these countries, they're saying they're not coming, and then Trump, got an attitude. Every time something don't go the way Trump likes it or wants it to, if every time or anytime someone says something contrary to what Trump says or wants, they're nothing anyway. We didn't need them, yeah, they're a dirt country, they're nothing, they don't have nothing. They're doing bad right now, That's his thing, man. And he not telling the truth, man. Over here in the United States, man, people are doing bad, man. This country down there like a third world country. I don't care how they dress it up, man. It's bad over here, man. It's bad. Only thing this country got going for itself, I think, is the military. But they ain't all cracked up to be all, they make people think they are, or they make out to be. America, as a country in terms of, they're in debt, just all kind of shit, man, going on with this country, y'all. All kind of things. But I kind of think too, there's a lot of what's going on is intentional. It's for a reason, man. And we better hear him figure it out. You better hear him figure it out. 365 Red Eye. 365 Red Eye say, what's happening with the great wealth transfer coming up this July? Man, share that. Put that in there. Yeah, what is happening with the great wealth transfer coming up this July? Yeah, tell us about it. Yeah, break that down for us. I don't think I need to do this. Okay, I'm going to pause that right quick. Should have never. 1 second, everybody. Yeah, so you say what's happening with the great wealth transfer coming up this July? Oh, shit. I'm trying to figure that out. What's happening with the great wealth transfer coming up this July? So, okay. So, appreciate that too, 365 Red Eye. So, as it says here, man, what is happening with the great wealth transfer coming up this July is it is an estimated 84 trillion to 124 trillion in assets are shifting from baby boomers to younger generations, primarily the Gen X and the millennials, between now this year through 2048, marking an historic transfer of wealth. While often portrayed as a sudden event, it is unfolding as a slow, long-term process, with many boomers giving while living through intergenerational gifts and support for major expenses. All right. Key aspects of the wealth transfer scale and scope, as estimated 84 trillion in private wealth is projected to transfer over the next 2 to 3 decades, with roughly 33% of wealthy families already having initiated the process, and up to 124 trillion projected by 2048. Delayed timeline. The transfer is not a sudden windfall, but a slow process. Older Americans are living longer, and with the increased healthcare costs, are holding onto their wealth longer than originally anticipated. The giving while living trend. Many baby boomers are passing wealth to their heirs now rather than waiting for inheritance, aiding with, for example, housing deposits or school fees. Primary beneficiaries, while millennials and Gen Z are the long-term targets, Gen Z is expected to be the primary recipient in the near term. The impact on wealth management. Next generation heirs often seek different financial advisors than their parents, focusing on trust, shared values, and technology. And that's the Gen Zs. No, the next generation. Yeah, that'd be the Gen Zs. Key asset types. The wealth being transferred includes real estate, securities, and small businesses. Impact on markets and economy. Investment changes. You got economic shifts. The transfer of wealth is projected to significantly bolster the net worth of younger generations, with some studies indicating that millennials' net worth has already quadrupled over a 5-year period. Then you have the new financial advice needs. As assets change hands, financial planners are increasingly focusing on retaining the younger generation of clients, with a focus on education and long-term planning. So that is what that is in terms of what is happening with the great wealth transfer coming up this July. So from now, 2026 until 2048, they're saying it's going to be a slower process than what they thought. Damn, 84 trillion. I'm willing to wager that's probably a low ball number. Yeah, because you know, those super that old money. Yeah, you know, that old money, man. 84 trillion to 124 trillion in assets being shifted. Probably way more than that. Probably way more than that, man. Yeah, appreciate that insight. 365 Red Eye, man. Appreciate that. You already know this is Under Groove Podcast. Appreciate you dropping that gem right there. All right. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, everybody, to Under the Groove. All right. Okay. Al Thomas said, man, I don't think MJ was autistic, and he wasn't an idiot savant. MJ was super intelligent. That was my take on it. Way before I saw the movie, I thought MJ was very, not even practical would be like an understatement. You know, I thought he was a genius, not just in music, you know, in actually, you know, promoting himself, but in his business dealings, his transactions. The dude, he copped or captured one of the greatest assets in music, probably hands down. And that was the Beatles, you know, whole catalog. You know, come on. So I don't know, man. I don't know about him being autistic. I always thought the dude was, you know, I thought he was an intelligent cat. You know, I did, you know, I have to say. Yeah, man. James said, man, for sure, Al Thomas. And in his defense, he was constantly under cameras. And then people was all over him, eyes and ears, though he did always stand strong on his 10 and hold his own. Rare breed. Yeah, and that's another thing, man. Mike had the heart, almost you could say, man, like the heart of a saint, damn near, man. And his concern was about the children. Again, you got to look at it like this, man. As a kid, he had no childhood, you know what I mean? And just imagine, now, a lot of shit haven't been talked about, but there are all kind of allegations, not in terms of what he supposedly did, but what was done to him by the industry or those in the industry. Yeah, man, the dude, man, he probably saw that as, hey, man, damn, didn't nobody save me. And I see these kids coming in here, let me save them. I saw some actually where he had attended, if I remember this correctly, he was at one of Jeffrey Epstein's parties. He was there, Trump was there, and a lot of other celebrities. And there was a girl, a child there, and he got the child out of the way, man. You didn't, basically said the kids shouldn't be here, I remember where I'll recall where I saw that at. And that wasn't AI either, that actually happened, And I think, yeah, he had an affinity for children, but not like some would portray it or try to, describe it. You know what I mean? Yeah, he had a love for children, man. He wanted to take care of the kids, man. I get it. And that's noble. I think that's righteous shit, All right, Fat Rat. So you did catch that. Beautiful, beautiful. You say Dr. Malachi Z. York, a prolific and highly intellectual figure in Black history. I studied with the Nubian soldier inside. I studied with a Nubian soldier inside. I hear you loud and clear. The holy tablets, scrolls, to name a few of his works. Yeah, man. And I appreciate how the brother of Phase One dropped that on him or about him. So much so that tonight and in the morning I'll be all over that. I will be all over that, man. I will be all over that. And make sure I don't miss a beat in terms of his name. And that's York. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Harry haven't got rid of him. They hit him with them charges, man. That's what they do. Hulan Survivor said, man, peace to everyone in the chat, man. I'm chopping veggies, man, and listening. There you go. I got a veggie soup for dinner tonight, man. Speaking of that, speaking of it, I love them, but again, y'all, I be hungry, man. Shit, I be hungry. Yeah. Al Thompson, man, white women benefited from both DEI and affirmative action more than anyone, bro. And again, damn, great point to make. But it goes back to food stamps and welfare, man. How they tell these lies, man, about who get what or who's been living off the government, who's more dependent. Come on, man. And they had Black people believing for a very long time that we were the greatest recipient of welfare, than anybody else in the country, that we were, receiving more food stamps than anybody in the country. Come to find out, those were all, that's not the truth. It's not the truth, But again, I tell you, man, it only becomes a problem if it actually does something for us. And that's when it becomes a problem. That's when they say, okay, we got to take that back. We have to get rid of that because it's serving them too well. They're actually using that shit, They know what to do with it, And again, look at it like this. Before DEI, maybe not before affirmative action, but pretty sure when affirmative action came into play, a lot of our sisters, man, were already on that road to scholarship, to being, just educated, the most educated, highly in the country. They are the ones. They are the ones, you know what I mean? And so I can see how the government And again, y'all, we get to point fingers at Trump like he the first one. No, man, all of them have done it. Obama included. Everything you see Trump doing, they all done it. Everything. Everything. All of them have done it. From war on down, man. To aiding genocide, man. You know what I mean? To telling lies, man. To depriving blacks of whatever it is, you know what I mean? We should have a right at or action at. Access to, you know? They've all done it. Again, man, this is some cold stuff, man. But anyway, I digress, man. Yeah, our sisters, man, are the best of the best, man. They're the best of the best, man. I mean, I was reading up on them a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know that you talk about degrees and you talking about being knowledgeable, highly educated. Man, I had to acknowledge my damn self. Okay, man, I had been listening to the lies. You know, I had fell for the okie doke, man, about our queens, man. And I should have known better. I should have known better. You know, I come from a household where there was just a mother. Super intelligent. Super intelligent. You know, I have a wife who way before she was my wife was super intelligent. Smart. Not just smart, man. Intelligent. You know? Women in my family, period. Just period. Most women in homeboys' families, you know, that I knew of, just intelligent, man. You know, should have knew better. But yeah, they'll tell that lie quick, fast, and in a hurry, Al. They'll say, hey, man, oh, no, y'all didn't, you know, it's reverse racism and, you know, reverse discrimination. And, you know, no, it's not right, you know, to have this and only for blacks or what it been in the whole time. They were the ones benefiting from it the most the whole time. Oh, cap, man. Yeah, we ought to be long tired, man. We ought to be tired, man, long time ago. Long time ago. Oh, man, I'm up on this. A Fat Rat Playboy said, man, Wesley Snipes was a major contributor to his. He had a compound with pyramids on it. Yeah, I'm fully aware of that one too. Yeah, he had a compound with pyramids on it to reconnect our people to Nubian and Kemetic culture. Controversy surrounds his charges, no doubt. Well, you know, they went after Wesley first. You know, Wesley was a part of that compound, and they tried to get him on tax evasion and shit like that. Huge compound. And I also, they're not just enlightening the brothers and sisters, you know, the kings and queens on their heritage, you know, their identity or whatever. But man, military training, the whole nine, man. They had that thing right. And that's the only reason why they went in there, man. I think. Not only because they were educating brothers and sisters, kings and queens, but they were training them as well. You know, and they say, oh, hell no. And again, anytime we do something that benefits us and they see that we know what the hell we're doing, we already know what the outcome's going to be. They're going to come burn it down, tear it down, and lock us up and kill us. This is how that game go with them. It's our time. I tell y'all, we can't keep playing by their rules. You know, again, as far as we're concerned, as far as problems affecting us in the world is concerned, we ought to know, we have the wherewithal to have a solution, find a solution that would improve our station here and protect us, keep us safe. Because this time, you know, it got to be done differently. We can't do it the same way we did it the last time and the last time and the last time and expect a different result. Are we crazy? Are we insane? You know? Yeah, appreciate that, Fat Rat. Wesley Snipes, man. I remember that. Was that Alabama. Where was that, man? That compound. Alabama, maybe. It could have been Georgia. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the compound, man. Wesley Snipes was one of my better actors too back then. They went and got that brother. I said, oh man, look at these, man. This is what they do. All right, everybody. I got to get ready to cut it out, man. We'll have an early night tonight, man. Well, 8:15 ain't early. That's around our time, man. Halftime tacos gone. All ears. Like that there. Henry say, Brother Bub, have you ever seen the video made by the Nation of Islam with Farrakhan talking about Michael Jackson called the crucifixion of Michael Jackson? You and the wifey might like it. And I already know she's listening somewhere, and we gonna tap in on that one. It's called, okay, the crucifixion. Yeah, crucifixion of Michael Jackson. Okay, got it. All right. Soldier Denise said, man, Michael Jackson, whatever happens, don't let go of my hand. Priceless. Huh. Yeah, man. They did a number on us, y'all. Did a number on us. Henry said, man, Dr. York's son made some videos on the internet some years ago. All right. What's his son's name, Henry? Do you know? Well, I just caught that right there, Pope. You say, Fat Rat, I heard that the white man was trying or did buy those compounds in Georgia. And so, yeah, you say Putnam, Georgia, Pope, huh? That's where they were. Damn, I need to look into that, man. Yeah. And that was a lot of acreage too, man. I think they took it. They got him, Wesley Snipes. I don't know who it belonged to, but I know Wesley Snipes that went to, federal prison for tax evasion, something of that nature, man. I don't know if it was gun charges and tax evasion, one or the other, but yeah, he did go. He did some time. All right, on that note, y'all, I got to cut it loose, man. Again, we know what it is. It got to be about love. It has to begin with love for self, and that's what's going to make everything possible. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself, man. We'll be able to do the job, man, and take care of the people. That's what's happening, That's what's happening. We are connected in more ways than we think, than we know. I trust that shit. And I trust that, man, in some way, form or fashion, brothers going to lead us brothers, man, to where we need to be. It's going to take each and every one of us to enlighten each and every one of us, man. That includes our queens, all right? That being said, love yourself, man, so you can love each other, all right? Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, man. And you got to know, I think this shit is so evident, man, that power is in the people. You don't give power to the people, man. It's already there. It was placed there. I don't know who did it. I don't know who put it there. I just know it's there. Power is in the people, man. And we got to get to that power. We got to learn how to, activate, turn that thing on, man, so we can get done what need to be done. That being said, man, take care of yourselves and each other. Like I said, man, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Enjoy the rest of your night, people. One love. Black first.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hearst, the right of future history. From the Apollo to the Borough to the Sphere. Where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transformed suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant. This is once a less than. Had this and mistakes. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive, watch the applause. for bones. DJ the toes and constantly problem when the wet just wanna build the season big. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times, pleading walking soft the main, making on the fans, turning neck and love the durn, suffering like a kisher. You went wrong to preaching up on side is each bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vet someone that very it's on Gary Land. Be hell heaven, you see what the bonavin. You wait something for the marker, make the key to pull the trumpets on the boards to the singer land is carried open, slowly keep us looking on my mother, break it, generosity for the he and let the peasant be and every time we keep a spawn.